Start with the prayers. Om Bhadram Karnebhiः Shrunuyama Devaः Bhadram Pashyemakshabhiryajatraः Sthirairangaiः Sushtuvagam Sashtanubiः Vyashema Devahitam Yadayuः Swasti na Indro Vrittashravaः Swasti na Pusha Vishwavedaः स्वस्ति नस्ताक्षोररिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्ददातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. We are studying Mandukya Upanishad, the Shankara Bhashyam, and we have covered 15 verses of the third chapter. We are in the 15th verse. How do we understand the third chapter? The third chapter, the title is Adwaita Prakaranam. Advaita means non-duality, and Dvaita means duality, plurality. So let's try to understand these two things clearly. Duality means what we experience as the subject and object in the waking state and in the dream state. We experience ourselves as the subject. There is an object in front of us. This is called as duality. Try to get this vision correctly, because the entire third chapter is based on Advaita. Waking and dream is supposed to be Dvaitam, duality. Dvaitam in English is duality. Advaita means non-duality. We also have one more experience, which is the sleep state. The sleep state, what is our experience? The whole world which we experience in the waking state has become homogeneous mass of consciousness, awareness. So the vision is, there is a dual world and there is a non-dual world. Vedanta wants us to compare the two worlds. That is the first exercise for a Vedantic seeker. Especially when you come to the higher levels of study, which is Mandukya Upanishad, our mind must be very sharp and also one-pointed, focused. What do you mean by one-pointed? One-pointed means our mind should be able to visualize the condition of the mind in which the world is not there, the world has collapsed. Visualize it by comparing the sleep state with the waking state. I'm sure all of us can do it, because we have both experiences. Mandukya Upanishad wants us to go one step further. Dwita. What is that next step we have to do? I have to stand on that Advaita condition, and then conclude what is the nature of the entire universe. Are you able to get the points? First, we start from Dwita. Dwita means, let us say, waking state. Right now, we are in Dwita. You are listening to the talk, I'm speaking, all this is happening. It's an event. Suppose we go to sleep. In the Dvaitam, in the waking state, the mind is woken up. Mind is in a waking condition. Mind. Focus is on the mind. In the sleep state, there is a power in both of us where we can forget this world of waking and go to sleep. All of us have that power. That is called as Nidra Shakti, the power to sleep. In the power which we have to, in which the mind sleeps, Mandukya says, wake up. Wake up to your real nature. You are the experiencer of sleep. You are the experience of the sleeping condition of the mind. You are not the mind. You are experiencer of the mind. That experiencer of the mind is the Sakshi. It is the Turiyam. I hope you're trying to get to the depth of this discussion, because in the 15th mantra, the author of Mandukya Upanishad, Karika Gaudapadacharya, wants us to analyze the world of Dvaitam and Advaitam, and then come to a conclusion that Advaitam is the ultimate reality, whereas waking, dream, sleep is a condition of the mind. So don't confuse the condition of the mind with your real nature. Your real nature is only a witness to something which is happening in the universe. So we have to go to that higher level. Then only you will understand what discussions and what debates we are doing in this talk. With this small introduction, I will now go to the Bashyam, the commentary, where I stopped in the previous session. So here, what Upanishad says is, the entire waking state is a imagination, is a kalpitam. It is an illusion of the mind. But there is something which is the adhishtanam, which is the substratum of our experiences, which is Atma. So there is a substratum, a pure I, which we call it as Atma or Brahman. And on this pure consciousness, the entire world appears and disappears, appears and disappears. It is an unreal world, like the dream world. We are all trying to understand what is this waking world. Gaudapadacharya and Shankaracharya are trying to teach us this waking world is also like the dream world, which comes and goes. But for anything which is coming and going, like the rope snake which comes and goes, there has to be adhishtanam rope. without which this Mithya rope snake cannot exist. Similarly, for this waking state, there is a substratum. That substratum is the highest nature of the jiva. So here the jiva is called as Brahman without any delusion. With the delusion, what happens? He becomes a jiva, he comes down to the level of a waker, dreamer, sleeper. From that Turiya Avastha, the fourth pada, where that consciousness alone exists, Upanishad is trying to say that is your real nature, not the waker, dreamer, sleeper, ahamkara, but the pure state in which the world is not there, but you are there. Isn't it true? In the sleeping state, the world is not there, but I am there. How do you say I am there? Because I come back again and I say that I was there in sleep. Nobody says I was not in sleep. So we have to make this demarcation between I and the world. World means waking world, dream world, sleep world. Try to make this difference first. I am pure awareness. World is something which comes and goes. The dream world comes and goes. The sleep world comes and goes. Waking world comes and goes. All this is relative reality. Waking, dream, sleep is relative reality. But what is absolute reality? Absolute reality is Turiya Avastha. Now, the next point which the Shankaracharya takes up is the story of how prana is very great and all that. That we have seen in Chandogya, in Keno Upanishad, and so on. This portion which I am taking now in this slide is a revision of the 15th Karika. The Upanishad negates Jiva Srishti and Jagat Srishti. Jiva Srishti means what? All the thoughts which we create in our mind. Jagat Srishti means what? It is the creation of Ishvara. It is the creation of some power. So, Shankaracharya says, creation is mentioned in the Upanishad not to accept creation as the ultimate reality. It is only a stepping stone to come to the seer of creation, the experiencer of creation, the adhishtanam of creation. That is the purpose. In Brahma Sutra, this particular point is mentioned. This is the quote which is given. Brahma Sutra, for people who have never studied this text, there are 555 sutras like this, like the one which I'm showing in the slide. And each of these sutra refers to some Upanishadic mantra, which it tries to explain and elaborate. So in this particular sutra, what it says is, Shankaracharya quotes this in his commentary. He says that the first cause is Brahman. Ultimate cause of this creation is Brahman. Therefore, you should not take the relative causes as real. You drop the relative causes and then hold on to the ultimate cause of creation. In different Upanishads, creation is explained in different ways. Chandogya Upanishad says, Sadeva idam agre asi. And then it says three elements were created. Prashnopanishad says prana was created first. Taittiriya Upanishad says five elements were created. And in each of these creations, the creation in each of these Upanishads, creation is explained in different ways. Kathopanishad, most of you have with me before this Mandukya Upanishad, where we talked about Nachiketa and Yamadharmaraja. And then Prashnopanishad, it was the pranas, how they were created. Kaivalya Upanishad talks about Panchabhuta Srishti. And then it says, it negates the Panchabhutas. In each of these creation, ultimately creation is negated, and then what is glorified? The Adhishtanam, Brahman, Turiyam is glorified. Here also in Mandukya Upanishad, the three states are negated, and ultimately, what is glorified? What is glorified is Turiya Avastha. All this says that ultimately there is no origination at all, a karanam. See, this is the way Upanishad is trying to take us from Dvaita Prapancha, the Jiva Bhava, to Advaita Bhava and Moksha. All these portions we study only for realizing that my nature itself is Nitya Mukta Swarupa. So initially we say there is a Karanam and there is a Karya. There is Karanam means there is a cause, and there is a Karyam, which is the world is an effect. Next in the Shankaracharya's Bashyam, some Vedic stories are referred to here. About prana story and about different things. What Shankaracharya says is that Tatparyam means the central teaching is not creation, central teaching is Advaitam. Dream is also taken up in our study. But then why is dream taken up? Because it is Mithya. So there is no Tatparyam in creation. Tatparyam means central teaching. Similarly, in Bhagavad Gita, we have got 18 chapters in Bhagavad Gita. And it takes 6 years to teach Bhagavad Gita of 701 verses. But what is the central essence of Bhagavad Gita? It is not that who fought whom and how many warriors died in the Mahabharata or in the Bhagavad Gita war, in the Arjuna's war. Not for that. The central teaching is moksha and how to live a dharmic life. So Vedantin says that creation and other things which are mentioned in the Upanishads are purely meant as Arthavada. Arthavada means what? Some things are criticized, some things are glorified. You take the one which is glorified and drop the one which is criticized. How to arrive at the central teaching of the Upanishad? You should use Shad Lingas. What do you mean by Shad Lingas? Shad Lingas means you should see what is repeated what is said in the beginning and what is said in the end. Through these indicators, and what is the phalam, what is the prayojanam for that teaching. So through these methods, you should find out what is the main object of teaching and what is the other side aspects. For example, when we take prana, prana has got mukhya prana, which is the breathing, and then there are gauna prana. Gauna prana means the other pranas, that means the karma indriyas, jnana indriyas, karanam, they are all dependent on prana for functioning. So similarly, all this is trying, Shankaracharya's commentary is only trying to say, Srishti Vakyam is Tatparya Rahitam. So uh, the next portion is a Purva Pakshi, means an opponent, comes to Shankaracharya and says, Prana Sambhada and Utpati is a fact. Srishti is a fact. It is not. It is not that. It is not that it is just an arthavada, but it is a fact. I mean, this is how Shankaracharya writes the commentary, where he brings in somebody and says who opposes his view. He quotes a verse from Bhagavad Gita, second chapter, 28th verse. Avyakta bhutani vyaktamadhyani bharata avyakta nidhananyeva tatra ka paridevana. Very beautiful verse. It's one of the best verses of Bhagavad Gita. It says that beings were unmanifest in the beginning, then they became manifest, and then they become unmanifest. That means what? All jivas are always existing. So take that as the main teaching of this mantra. That means you, me, everybody, we may not appear in this form with the body and mind, but existence is our nature. Like, for example, in sleep state, do you experience your body, mind, and other people? No. But do you exist or not? Yes. So Lord Krishna wants Arjuna to know that all the warriors in the which he is trying to kill or fight in the battlefield, he says all of them are Atma. So he is giving Atma Jnanam to Arjuna. So here what is being said is there are many, many Srishtis. Srishti means creation. Now, these creations happen because of the punya papam of jivas. So, five bhutas, three bhutas, different imaginations, there is inconsistency. Inconsistency of creation shows that creation is not the main topic in the Veda. That is Shankaracharya's argument here. He says that I agree with the Purva Pakshi that Upanishads do talk of Srishti, and sometimes they talk of three elements, sometimes five elements, and so on. Now, all these Shankaracharya's commentaries are very big, and they have got lot of details. If you want to study them, you can study them in detail and try to understand a little bit more when you study the notes along with the commentary. My view here is to touch upon these commentaries and give you the central meaning. Okay. Fact varies from Srishti to Srishti. Pramanam should reveal something. One of the clues of identifying whether creation is the central teaching or Atma is the central teaching. In Naishkarmya Siddhi, Sureshwaracharya, one of the disciples of Shankaracharya, gives this lingam. He explains what should be the clues. I told you there are some lingams in the just 2 minutes ago. I told you here is an explanation of some more clues. Anadigata. These are all the clues to find out what is the central teaching. Anadigata means what? What we learn from the Veda, we can never know from our eyes, ears, from our sense organs. This should be one of the clues. For example, Atma or Brahman, we can never know from our sense organs or by thinking about it. No. So Veda teaches us something which is anadikatam, which cannot be known by other sense organs. That is clue number 1. Second clue, abaditam. Try to remember these words if you want to. These are all very logic-oriented discussions. Abaditam means what? What one pramanam is teaching or revealing should not be negated by another pramanam. For example, eyes can see all form and color, but our ears cannot negate what the eyes are showing or revealing. Similarly, cannot negate the sound. Therefore, each one is a pramanam. Eye is a pramanam, ears are a pramanam, tongue is a pramanam, skin is a pramanam. All these are sources of knowledge. What about Veda? Veda is Shabda Praman. It cannot be negated. If Veda says Atma is your real nature, you cannot negate it because I don't see Atma. Therefore, how can I believe in the Veda? You can't say. So the second clue is Abhaditam. Asandigdam. It should give me doubtless knowledge. Veda tells me that I am pure Satchidananda Atma. That's all. Pure consciousness, awareness is my nature. No doubt in it. That is one of the clues. See how beautifully Naishkarmya Siddhi Sureshwaracharya explains how I should look at Veda. Arthavat, fourth point. Arthavat means what? It should have prayojanam. What is the benefit of knowing this Atma? The benefit of knowing Atma is I am ever free. I don't look at body. Body has come, it comes in the waking state. I experience in the waking state. I don't experience in the sleep state. Therefore, through logic, I understand what Veda is trying to teach me is Atma, the awareness is ever there. Body comes and goes. Awareness of the body comes and goes. But the awareness itself is my real nature. By knowing awareness, what happens? I'm not going to get money. It's not Artha, Kama, and Dharma. These are the other three Purusharthas which we can use in our Vyavaharika life. Moksha is our spiritual self. Knowing the spiritual self, I can drop my body and say, I am Atma. What a great benefit Veda gives us. So ultimately, Moksha Shastra Veda, ultimately Upanishad or Bhagavad Gita, is Moksha Shastra. The purpose of teaching in the Upanishad is not Srishti. See, ultimately in this particular section, Shankaracharya wants to convince the Purva Pakshi that don't look at creation. Use creation, but come to the experiencer consciousness of creation. Creation is Jadam. Jadam means what? It is inert. There has to be a sentient experiencer, conscious experiencer. Through Adhyaropa and Abhavada, I am able to drop creation. Adhyaropa means what? First I say creation is there. Then experiencer is also there. Then what do I say? That is Adhyaropa. Then what the Upanishad says, creation, drop the creation. Neha nanasti kinchana, neti neti. What the Upanishad teaches me, from your experience, drop the experience of world, body, mind. What remains is your real nature, which is Atma, which is pure self, which is pure awareness. So, waking state, dream state, and the sleep state is an appearance in Atma. It is a seeming appearance. It is not factually, it is not there in consciousness. So the prayojanam of Advaitam, the prayojanam of Srishti is to come to Advaita Atma. Other than Advaita Jnanam, there is no other benefit which can come from the knowledge of Srishti. Suppose you come to know there are so many planets and so many stars, so much of in the cosmos. There is billions of stars and galaxies. Do you have any prayojanam? No. Suppose you know so many things, cosmology. No use, because ultimately you want to know who am I. So what Shankaracharya says you the entire search should be focused on who am I. When you come to Advaitam, alone you can know I am Atma. Atma means non-dual self, where there is no creation. That is our ultimate goal. Again and again, I'm saying this. It may be difficult for beginners to arrive at this and accept this fact, but that is what Upanishad is teaching us. Upanishad doesn't want to teach the creation, what happens in waking state, dream state, sleep state. That everybody knows. Upanishad wants us to know something different than what our sense organs can perceive. So, uh, then the Upanishad says, okay, if I do upasana and all that, I can reach Hiranya Garbha Padam. That means if in creation, there is something called as upasana and meditation and so on. Then by doing all that, as one meditate, one becomes. So he is trying to argue with Shankaracharya that creation is a fact. It is not something like what you are telling us. It is an appearance. He is trying to establish, Shankaracharya is trying to establish how creation can be negated with the help of a Purva. Taittiriya Upanishad talks about the different things in creation, like the Bhuloka, Suvaloka, Mahaloka, and it also talks about Brahmaloka. So here he tries to explain to the Purva Pakshi that if you keep on meditating on the creation, you will be always in Dvaita. And you will always come back to this world of Dvaita. Suppose you say, I am the Brahman, the Adhishtanam, I am the Turiya Atma, you will never have rebirth. As you think, you will become. That is one of the logic which he uses in this portion of the discussion. The bottom line is creation is an appearance. It is unreal. It is mithya, exactly like a tree. Here, when you say creation means waking state is unreal. It is available for experience. Ultimately, the use of this waking state is to come to the Advaita Atma and say Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. In 3 periods of time, in the past, Atma was there. In the present, Atma is there. In the future, Atma will continue to be there. Without Atma, there is no, without an experiencer, Atma, awareness, Atma, Dvaitam cannot be experienced. Second chapter of Mandukya Upanishad also emphasizes the same point. Here the verse is quoted where he says, never conclude that Dvaitam is real. What should we conclude? We should conclude that Dvaitam is an appearance. By knowing it is an appearance, I do not give too much importance to all my experiences. Experiences will come, they appear, they go. Like I keep on repeating this. Always think I am the experiencer consciousness, which is always there, which is Nityaha. Whatever is experienced is a part of the prarabdha karma of the body mind complex. This is the way to understand Mandukya Upanishad. Appearance of Dvaitam will continue after Jnanam also. Suppose I finish the Mandukya Upanishad, the 4th chapter. Will I see the world or will I not see the world? Shankaracharya says, you will see the world. It's not that you will not stop seeing the world. Only thing is, you will have an additional benefit after the study. Earlier, you used to suffer and say, I am suffering, I am doing this, I have got so many problems in life and so on. All that will be taken as mithya. A very big point in this Mandukya Upanishad especially is whether creation is real or unreal. Very, very big question mark, which Shankaracharya and Gaudapadacharya analyze in entire Mandukya Upanishad. In no other Upanishad we will find this type of discussion whether creation is real or unreal. You will find other types of processes of trying to reveal Atma. Each Upanishad has got a style. Kathopanishad, Ishavasya Upanishad, Chandogya Upanishad, they have different style. Only in Mandukya Upanishad, the way in which Atma is revealed is amazing. It is, you see, the thing is that this type of teaching helps us to hold on to this knowledge till the end. Because the moment you know that all my experiences are Mithya, I am Satyam, then that knowledge stays. You can abide in that knowledge. You can remember that knowledge. Okay, so this is how the discussion progresses. Universe is not asat. Asat means what? Completely non-existent, like rabbit's horn, like flowers in the sky. Universe is experienced, therefore it is called as adhyaropa. It is not asat, it is not non-existent. At the same time, it is not existent also. Because existent means what? It should continue all the time. Like I am there, the consciousness, am there in three periods of time. In the past, I was there. In the present, I'm there. In the future, I will be there. So the world does not come under existent category, sat category, or the world does not come under the asat category. This is very, very important point in Advaita. World. How do I see the world? Whether the world is real, unreal, or is it seemingly real? Seemingly real means what? That is what we call it as the third category. Mithya, Maya. We give those technical words to say that the world is Mithya. It is seemingly there. What is existent can't be negated. For example, I am. You can never negate this. In sleep also you cannot negate. Before the birth also you cannot say I was not there. Because you are there. I am there. What is not there? Body is not there. Body has come, body has gone. But Upanishad says you're not the body, you're not the mind, you're the Atma. So Jagat Asat Vilakshanam. Jagat Sat Vilakshanam. Atma is what? It is beyond the Jagat. The Jagat is Asat. Universe is not under existent category, not non-existent category. It comes under seemingly existent category. We do not, this is a very important statement which Shankaracharya makes. Try to get this point. We do not negate the appearance of the universe, experience of the universe, including my body, mind. But what we negate is factual existence of the body, mind, and the universe. I exist factually. I means consciousness awareness. Knowing that consciousness awareness always exists gives me moksha. See, ultimately, whenever we study, you have to come back to the central teaching. Central teaching is Aham Brahma Asmi. Jagan Mithya. Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. That central teaching, remember all the time. I am of the nature of Sat Chit Ananda. I am not the body, I am not the mind, but I am the consciousness. World appears in my mind. It does not factually exist in me, the consciousness. This is what is said in the 9th chapter, 4th mantra of Bhagavad Gita. Maya tatamidam sarvam jagadabhyakta murtinah mastani sarva bhutani nachaham teshvavasthitah. Why Then what happens? Then Shankaracharya says, if the creation is not there factually, then only we say Brahman is akaranam. It is not a karanam. It is not karanam, but it is adhishtanam. See the difference between karanam and adhishtanam. Vakar is the adhishtanam for the dream experience. Brahman or Turiyam is the adhishtanam for the waking experience. And this, compared to the dream world, you will say Vakar is the Adwita. It is there is no duality with reference to the dream world if you are standing as Vakar. Similarly, when you stand as Turi Atma, then what you will say that this world of Jagrat is a seeming appearance. On Adhishtanam Turiyam. See, these things are very difficult to explain through words, but a person who listens to it correctly can take the mind towards this Turiyat. Not difficult. I'm sure all of you are able to take your mind towards pure awareness level where this waking world is not appearing. The appearance of the universe does not disturb the Advaita status of Atma. That is why we say it is moksha. Moksha means what? I am there without any discussion at all. I exist. That is the nature of Atma. You're not. We are only trying to say what we are only trying. See, Upanishad is a Shabda Pramanam. It is a source of knowledge for me to understand what is there already. It is only trying to discover that reality. Okay, so the conclusion is Dvaitam is an appearance, Advaitam is reality. Now, in Advaita Atma, you do not have any differences. Sajatiya, Vijatiya, Swagata. What do you mean by Sajatiya? Sajatiya means two members belonging to the same species. Man, man, woman, woman. This is Sajatiya. This particular slide is important for all seekers to understand. So I'll spend a little bit of more time to explain this. So what is Sajatiya? Is because ultimately, if your mind has to stand and realize this Atma as the Adhishtanam, as the substratum for the entire universe, you must realize these three things. In the waking state, there is Bheda. Bheda means difference between man and man, women and women. That is Sajati. When it comes to consciousness, there is no second consciousness. There is no second Atma. It's not that you have one consciousness, I have another consciousness. Consciousness is one, bodies are many, minds are many. We experience the plurality with our mind and body complex. But consciousness, which is the power behind the body and mind, is Sajatiya Rahitaha. There is no second consciousness at all. So this is one feature of Atma. Second feature is, in the world we see Vijatiya Bheda. Vijatiya means what? Different species are seen. There is a tree, there is a man, there is a stone, there is a wall, there is mountains, there is rivers. I mean, there are so many different things in the world. In Atma, there is no second thing at all. No second thing. Pure consciousness. See, this slide will help you to understand the purity of awareness. No sajatiya bheda, no second consciousness. Consciousness is one, ekam. Vijatiya bheda rahitaha. There is no different consciousness, different species of consciousness. Not like there will be a women will have one type of consciousness, men will have another type, birds will have another type. No, one consciousness is common. Third difference which we see in the world is swagata veda. A tree has got a branch, leaf, root, trunk. Body has got legs, hands, nose, head. A car has got a wheel, steering, dashboard. So swagata veda means internal differences are experienced in the Dwita world, in the plurality. But in Advaita Atma, there is no second thing within Atma. There is no, Atma has no parts. Atma is partless. Atma is ekaha. It is one and it is non-dual. No second thing exists in Atma. So Triveda Bheda Nasti. Three types of differences do not exist in Atma. Very beautiful portion of Shankaracharya's commentary. These are the type of things which we have to learn and hold on. See, whenever we try to understand Vedanta, especially Dvaitam Advaitam, you should keep this Triveda Bheda, three types of differences which are experienced in the world of plurality does not exist in my real nature, which is Atma. Okay, so that is what is been taught in the 15th Karika. We have says this, examples of clay and pot, gold and ornaments, iron and its ornaments, iron and its instruments, what we make out of iron, fire and sparks. These are all examples which are given to show Karanam and Karya. Gold is the cause, product is chain, ring, bangle. But these type of examples only show differences in the Vyavaharika world, where Karanam and Karyam can be experienced. Cause and effect can be experienced. But in non-dual Atma, there is no experience of duality. That is the central portion, what we have learned in the 15th Karika. So this ends the 15th Karika. Now we will introduce and go to the 16th. Now, introduction of 16th Karika, Shankaracharya quotes Chandogya Upanishad, which says Ekam Eva Advitiyam. Chandogya Upanishad, 6th chapter, 2nd section, 2nd mantra. Very important portion for Mahavakyam. This is a Mahavakyam. Mahavakyam means it reveals Advaita Atma. What is Advaita Atma? Ekam Eva Advitiyam. Advitiyam is mentioned there. Whatever we are trying to study in Mandukya Advaita Karika, Advaita third chapter, is mentioned as one of the attributes, features of Atma. Vedantic Upanishad also, Shankaracharya quotes. Let's go through the mantra, then we will understand what this mantra is all about. The basic thing, ultimate conclusion of the previous shloka is Paramarthika Satyam means there is no difference at all. We are all searching for the reality. In the unreal world, there is plurality. But in the real world, in the real ultimate essence of creation, there is no plurality. Therefore, we say it is Atma. Dvaita Bheda difference nasti is the conclusion of the word Advaitam. So can you understand now what is the word Advaitam? We have studied 15 mantras just just for us to understand Advaitam. One word. 38 verses are there in this third chapter. And all these are trying to teach us one word, which is the central teaching of Upanishads. A question may come. This is what Shankaracharya says. Karma Kanda, Upasana Kanda is the beginning of Jnana Kanda. And there is a Bheda. In Upasana, I am the meditator, there is a meditated object. Then there is a statement, Brahmavida apnoti param, which is there in Jnana Kanda. You see, we are talking about two sections of the Veda. So the question now is Brahman known and is there a knower of Brahman? If you say there is a knower of Brahman, then there is a duality. Like doer and done, there is duality. Meditator and meditated, there is a duality. How do you say that in ultimately in Brahman there is no Bheda at all? Is the question which Shankaracharya says, which will be answered in the next shloka, which is the 16th one. Ekaha, Chandogya Upanishad says, ultimately there is only one thing. And before creation also there was only one thing. When the creation ends, there will be one thing. From this, what should be the lesson I should take from this particular mantra? Experience in the waking state and dream state, yes, it is there, but it is temporary. But when you talk about reality, reality is Advaita. That is the lesson I should take from this particular mantra of Chandogya. Atma is Sat. It's what? Existence, it exists in 3 periods of time. Anatma is Asat. It is seeming. It is unreal. It is as good as non-existent. How do you account for all the meditations in the Veda is the question of a Purvapakshi. Purvapakshi is saying Karma Kanda portion is voluminous. Upasana Kanda is voluminous. The 10 Upanishads are you can print it in a small book. It is a very small portion of the Veda. Why do you say that Dvaitam, which is there in the Purva Bhaga, you negate and then you say Advaitam, which is said in a few pages, You take that as the reality. That is what Shankaracharya says is going to be discussed in the 16th mantra. There is a duality between inquirer and inquired. But how do you say Advaitam is the reality? Shankaracharya quotes, he brings that Purva Pakshi. You see, this is the style of commentary. And it also helps me to understand Advaitam better. Shankaracharya quotes Brahman Upanishad, the second chapter, the fourth section. It is called Maitreyi Brahmanam, where it says, Atma va are drashtavyaha, shrotavyaha, mantavyaha, nididhyasitavyaha. How to know this Atma? First, you must listen, Shravanam, then Mananam, then Nididhyasam. This is a very, very favorite mantra of Vedantic Upanishad. It is quoted hundreds of times by Shankaracharya. Second chapter, fourth section, fifth mantra. Very important for all the seekers who want to know and who want to realize this Atma as the real self. It teaches us the process of realization. Chandogya Upanishad, 8th chapter, gives the definition of Atma as apahata papma, vijaraha, vimrutyaha, vishokaha, vijagatsaha, pipasaha, satyakama, satyasankalpaha. These are all the descriptions of Atma given out by Prajapati. The creator says, know Atma as free from punya papam, free from old age. Old age belongs to what? Sthula Sharira. Punya papam belongs to what? Karana Sharira, which is not me. It is free from death, free from sorrow. Death means death of the body. Free from sorrow means Sukshma Sharira. Free from hunger and thirst. Atma is not the body. Therefore, there is no hunger or thirst for Atma. So, this is the truth which you are seeking. In the 8th chapter of Chandogya Upanishad, the student goes to the creator and asks the question, what is this Atma? So, this is the description given of Atma. Very beautiful section. The first mantra is quoted, the same section, the third mantra is also quoted here. And it teaches us, if I know this Atma as my real nature, then I get Amritatvam. I get immortality. Very beautiful ways in which Shankaracharya brings out the essence of Atma. See, in all these commentaries, there are certain portions which you should keep in mind and say, this is the central teaching. I am listening to so many other things, but ultimately, I want to know my real nature. And the real nature from Tattvabodha onwards, Shankaracharya teaches us, it is not the body, it is not the mind, it is not the punya papam of the causal, the karana shariram. I am something different than the body, and which is Atma. Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. Very, very another important quotation from Chandogya Upanishad. All this which we experience in the world is Brahman. It is Turiyat. Why? Because it is the Adhisthana. All we experience in the dream world is the waker. Vaker is the Adhisthana. Everything comes from Brahman, everything exists in Brahman, everything goes back to Brahman. The entire dream world comes from the waker, it exists in the waker's mind, and it resolves in the waker's mind. This is the way you should meditate. It's one of the beautiful verses for meditation. Try to keep this point. I mean, it's very similar to um, other verses in Taittiriya Upanishad or Kaivalya Upanishad, which we have done. So this is the way to do the dhyanam of Ishvara. So before creation, the universe was an undifferentiated form. That means it was in unmanifest condition. Creation. You see, now again we going back to creation and trying to say how the creation. You see, in when we study Upanishad, creation is always a part of our study, continuous study. And creation has to be understood as manifest, unmanifest. When we talk about this creation in this Brihadaranyaka Upanishadic portion, chapter 1, 4th section, 7th verse, Shankaracharya quotes and says, it is manifest, unmanifest. Whatever is there in potential condition only appears. We all exist in our potential condition in our Karana Shariram. The same Karana Shariram projects the body and mind in the waking state. Sthula Shariram, Sukshma Shariram. Again in the night when we go back to sleep, again the manifest becomes unmanifest. Again the projection comes of the body and mind, and then you experience another day. So understand how creation is. It is manifestation, unmanifestation. And this power to manifest and unmanifest belongs to that Brahman or Turiyam, which can project this world. Even though Karma Kanda involves plurality, duality, it talks about so many rituals. And even though we say entire Veda is a Pramanam, how this Veda can be explained and Abheda can be taken as the truth. That is what we are going to study in the 16th Karika. So I think I will just to give you the running commentary of this. And then we will restart from this portion next week. Let us just listen to this once. 16th Karika.
आश्रमास्त्रिविधाहीनं मध्यमोत्कृष्टदृष्टयः उपासनोपदिष्ठेयम् तदर्थम् अनुकम्प्यया
Paracharya knows very well it is very difficult for a human intellect to accept Dvaita. He knows very well. Advaitam is a very high level teaching of the Veda, highest level. But not all of us will be able to accept and understand this Advaitam distinctly and clearly. So here in this mantra, he comes down to our level and says, there are three types of people with three different types of intellects. To some people, they teach method of worship. intellect is not developed. And when the intellect is slowly developed from from a higher intellect, you come, from a lower intellect, a dull intellect, you come to a medium level intellect. That means what? You have studied some portion of the Bhagavad Gita, some Upanishad, so you become a mediocre person. So initial portion is Karma Yoga, Upasana Yoga. What is the question? What is the question introduction? What we have studied? The question which Shankaracharya says is, how come Veda is so big? The Veda Purva Bhaga is so big, and you are asking me to drop the Karma Kanda and Upasana Kanda and take the Upanishadic portion, which is a very small portion, as the reality. So, to that introduction, this mantra says that Veda is meant for all types of people, the beginners, the people who have studied a little bit, and ultimately people who are seeking the highest. How the Veda addresses these three groups of people, we will see in the next session. We will start again with first this slide 2459, and then we will go to understand this verse. See, the entire study of Upanishadic commentary is a slow understanding of the deeper aspects of the Veda. It is not you can't rush into this teaching, because commentary of Shankaracharya takes time. See, we have done 2,500 slides, in Mandukya Upanishad to understand the nature of art. It takes time, but ultimately, this subject matter, because it is so subtle, requires us to spend time week after week after week, and then let it continue. You see, let the teaching come, let me absorb as much as I can, and then leave it. Let future decide how this teaching helps me to hold on to my real nature as Turiya. Okay, I'll stop here, and oh, Purnamada Purnamidam Purnam Purnamudachade Purnasya Purnamathaye Purnameva Vasishyate. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Any questions? If you have, you can put in the chat box, or you can ask personally by raising your hands. Yeah, Vijaya, please go ahead.
Jai Shri Krishna. Thank you very, very much, Shekharji. Very, very beautiful session. I think the essence of Adwaita, where the stress is more on Ekameva, more than that, this is Na Advitiya. Na Advitiya is, I think, is stressed so very beautifully in today's session. It is not enough to say first, but it is more important to say without the second. So he's saying that how one needs to blend the Dvaitam. It's like using a thorn to remove the thorn. How intelligently he uses the Dvaitam to establish that actually there is no Dvaitam. Everything is Advaitam. I think that is one of the, that's the reason why Shankaracharya's Bashyam are are so enjoyable, I think. And he also explains in this, what I understood from your way of explanation is our experiences in the world is most important and crucial for all of us, because we experience the bad, the bandhaka, until unless I experience, there is no element of vairagya. And without the vairagya, there is no element of viveka, where you would know which is nitya and anitya, and there is no element of you dropping the anitya state. Therefore, realizing the seemingly false sense of the jagat. So also the jiva. The challenge here is sometimes I am able to drop the world, which is I feel is different to me with the triangular format. But Shankaracharya establishes here that in the world is you too. So it's not just eventually to drop the world, but also to drop the mind, because mind itself is the Jagat, is the world, which is the Jagatvam. So sometimes I feel, is it factual negation of the world versus the intellectual negation of the world? But he says it starts with the factual negation of the world, and eventually you go and intellectually drop it, because you would still be in the world and experience the world. But the caveat here is to the person who has dropped the world, who has dropped the prapancha, he should no more be affected or impacted by his experiences. So he says that these experiences also are as false as the world, whereby there should not be any cause of sorrow or pain to him. So the entire uh, characteristics of the jagat to be the baddhakatvam, sashvatam, dukhanam, itself you will negate. Because how can the non-existent world have these three bindings as VAD? I think that is what is beautifully coming through. And thus I appreciate the existence of Prapancha. Why God created the world? It could be a nonsensical question, but the answer is for you to appreciate the Adwaita.
Yeah.
Then Brahma Akaranatvam, I think that also has came out so very beautifully, because the Srishti is basically seemingly true and actually false. When you establish the concept of it is actually false by your experiences, then the Karanatvam comes into existence, as you said. And when you come to a conclusion that yes, it is seemingly existence, because the definition of Maya itself is Maya, na iti Maya. It is not, it was not there, it will not be there, but it is seemingly there too. And that is when the superimposition or the adhishtanam of the Brahman comes into the play. And I also appreciate very beautifully even the concept of I am meditating, how the Dwita is intertwined, how difficult everything in this world is without, you cannot assume a world without Dvandva. How important it is for us to be in this Dvandva and also experience Nirdvandvata or Nisprapancha or Ekatvam without the Dvitiyam. I think a very, very beautiful session. I have benefited a lot from today's session. Amazing clarity. Back to you, Shekharji. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Vijay. I mean, you have summarized the entire talk and how you have heard and how you have understood. It shows the depth of your knowledge, the depth of your understanding of the whole subject matter, and very useful when you give your input in this for this talk. It's very useful because it helps everybody to also see how this teaching is so beautiful. You see, when I started the Mandukya Upanishad, I never knew I will come up to the third chapter, the 15th verse. I thought probably we'll stop after the 12 verses or after the first chapter. Then I thought maybe second chapter. And many of you have been listening continuously, and very happy that you have come up to this level. And this is a very, very subtle study, and going from Dvaitam to Advaitam, not easy, but people have done it who have studied Mandukya Karika. And not only this, you see, when you finish this Mandukya Upanishad, everything else you study in life will become very easy. Because you have this basis, you feel that, oh, now I know how I can interpret all the things which you learn in Bhagavad Gita, in other Upanishads, and so on. Very good. Thank you, Vijaya, for also you have chanted so beautifully these Dakshinamurti Stotram, the 10 verses. Very good chanting by you. And we are all enjoying the chanting. I'm sure everybody likes this part of, and also you have chanted every single verse. We are, of 200 verses. So many things you have done, and thank you. Shanta, you have a question?
Namaste, Shekharji. Thank you very much. As Vijaya said, it was very, very powerful lecture today. I would like a little more explanation, if possible, on Nishprayoga, Nishprayogatva, but especially the last one, Arthatvatu. If you could, give more
Okay.
information, or
See,
even explain,
Nishprayojanam
because the first
is
three were quite easy. Yeah.
quite clear. Yeah. So, this is one of the clues. Suppose you're studying Bhagavad Gita or you're studying Upanishads. You should ask these questions like anadikatam, asandigtam, all those technical words which I used, you should try to apply. Basically, you should know whether there is any prayojanam for the study of Bhagavad Gita or Upanishads. Now, the prayojanam is an important clue where Shankaracharya says there is a prayojanam for the study of the Veda Anta portion because it gives me moksha. So nishprayojanam and prayojanam. If it is nishprayojanam, then I should drop it. If it is prayojanam, prayojanam means benefit. Nishprayojanam is useless. So, Veda Anta portion gives me the benefit of moksha. Veda Purva portion, the earlier portion, gives me dharma, artha, kama.
Artha, kama. Yeah.
Veda Anta gives me moksha. So, both Veda Purva and Veda Anta are useful. But they are two different portions, is what Shankaracharya wants to say. It has got its benefits. Veda Purva has benefits. Veda Anta has benefits. So study both, and it is take it as two portions of the Veda for two different candidates. One candidate is interested in the Loka. He wants to go to Swarga Loka. He wants to go to Brahma Loka. He wants to enjoy a body there and enjoy all the powers. But there is another candidate who says, I don't want all the lokas. What will I do? Again, after the loka experience, I have to come back to the same Manusya loka. So there are two candidates. One candidate is interested in dharma, artha, kama. He wants money. The rituals, there are rituals for that. He wants entertainments. There is rituals. So even Nachiketa ritual is meant for going to Swarga Loka and enjoying. So that's one of the first boon he asked. Then he said, that is not the end. You gave me, Lord Yama, you gave me three boons. Now my last boon is moksha. How to attain moksha? You are the one who is the Lord of death, which means you know birth and death together. Now teach me what is moksha. And then the Lord says, Etat Vaitat. Again he teaches. So now is it clear? Prayojanam and Nishprayojanam?
Yes, because I was under the impression prayojanam was, like a simple language. Prayojan is a way to, or a method. And so I was just trying to understand what was the method to get that knowledge. It is probably the same thing as we say, Shravanam, Mananam, and Nididhyasana. Would that
Now
be
it's clear,
better?
right?
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, that is clear now. Yeah, thank you.
Anybody else has any other question? Go through these portions, just listen, and then let the idea sink in slowly, because it's very important that Shravanam takes place. Shravanam means listening of the scriptures. It gives you, it gives you definitely benefits of chitta shuddhi. Even if nothing happens to you, doesn't matter. It gives you chitta shuddhi. It gives you purity. Some of the impressions which you have, vasanas you have, they are all burnt just by listening. Yeah, Vijay, you have one more question?
I don't think it's a question, but I think it was a lovely discussion on the prayojanam. The thing is, the Veda is so huge, right? And the majority of the portion is, Brahmanakas and Aranyakas, or maybe even the Karma Kandas. But the thing is, why Upanishad, that is the Vedanta, it becomes very important, and you very well explained. I can only give an example. So there is this butter or the ghee in the milk, but you will never be able to enjoy that till you set into a process, and you need to first break that into yogurt and then start kind of churning it. And it is a big process. It takes time, it takes effort. And then once you churn it, then the butter comes, then you have to heat up the butter, and then the clarified ghee comes. The ghee, in comparison to the quantity or the process, is so difficult and also so little. But that is the purest of the essence of that milk. So without the milk, definitely ghee is not there. So definitely the prayojanam, you cannot say that the Vedas are useless, but it teaches us that the effort involved on sadhaka for chitta shuddhi, whether it is could be starting with the karma yoga or upasana yoga, or and then coming to the jnana yoga, and then drop everything, because actually to the extent that once you get the ghee, you will also understand that ghee is full of cholesterol. I don't need it. But the whole process actually you would enjoy. Just for that one drop of ghee, you would enjoy the entire process. That what actually liberates you in the end. I just thought I'll add this for Shanta.
It's a
So
wonderful,
I understood it. Yeah.
Vijayaji, very, very beautifully explained, because that is what we need. Meaning, I always understand this through that seed. Is it Pipalada Shekaji who teaches the child, the father teaches the son that the seed has got the potential, see the tree in the seed. And when you cut it, there is nothing, but we know that when you plant it, it will grow into a plant.
Yeah.
If you sow it, it'll grow into a plant. It's something like that. When you look at the milk, you can't see the ghee in it, but we know that when you break it and go take it through the process, you will get butter, and that's guaranteed. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Vijay. Krishna, you have some comment?
Hariom Shekharji.
Yeah, Hariom.
I think, as you said, I think it is highly meditative, this session. And through the listening itself, it makes one to sink into one's own self. But I think today's lecture, has covered more than, I think, even including the meditation session from Dakshinamurti Stotra, has covered the Jiva and Ishvara, and actually so many things that which we do in the Vyavahara, how there is no prayojana in the Paramarthika Drishti. So the prayojana is from the Paramarthika Drishti, there is no prayojana because we are always that consciousness. And from the Vyavaharika Drishti, I think the Jiveshwaras are always there, and Advaita is not going to put any restriction to that, where we need to do the upasana in the Vyavahara, that would be there with the understanding. So the limitation of this body continues, limitation of this mind and intellect continues, even to a Gnani. But from the Paramardhika Drishtya, one is one with that supreme consciousness. As you have indicated, I think we are having this oneness experience in the deep sleep, but it is an unknown that I don't know even myself. The intellect doesn't know it. But with this jnana, one can awake into that and abide into that. It is so wonderful. And listening to itself is really great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Krishna. Very well put. Again, it shows the depth of a person, of how he understands these things. And I'm sure Krishna has done a lot of Shravanam before in his before coming to these talks. A person who has done Shravanam only will be able to speak like this, who is able to enjoy. And one very important point he made is ultimately it is only understanding. It is only understanding that my real nature is Atma. It is only consciousness, pure self. The Vyavaharika level is a different level. Like the dream level is a different realm. So whenever we are in Vyavahara, okay, fine. Let me go through the Vyavahara. I cannot stop it. In Vyavahara, there is no, all the Upanishads whether teach us that even Jnani goes through the Vyavahara. After knowing that he is the ultimate reality. Very well put, Krishna. Thank you. You have summarized very beautifully. Good. Anybody else? Okay, we will stop here and then we shall continue next week. This Mandukya as well as the Saturday sessions on Tattva. Thank you. Namaste.
Dhanyavad.
Namaste.
Dhanyavad,
Dhanyavad.
Shekharji. Dhanyavad.
Thank you.
Namaste, Shekharji. Thank you.
Thank you.